Good morning. Welcome to My Left Ear. It is Saturday, July 9th, 2022. This is video 104. I am Carrie Freeman. I'm the writer, producer, director of My Left Ear. And this is a left-leaning political and psychic commentary site, show, channel. And then I throw in some very entertaining things. So what about me? I call myself a change agent because I do coaching, individual coaching, and I use my left ear, which is my psychic side, I should say. The site is called My Left Ear because I get information, I get intuition, and just material through this side. Which is difficult to explain, but that's how I'm working. And I do therapeutic hypnosis. So I call myself a change agent because I help people change. I help people move forward, and I love it. So if you're interested in any of it, below and even in my community section, I'm posting how you can contact me. I haven't had breakfast yet, so I might fumble around a little bit. I had coffee, but I didn't have breakfast. At any rate, you can email me, and I will send you a cheat sheet of what I do and what the charge is. And right now, I'm giving some discounts through August. I have a book called The Comic's Daughter that's been very well received here, and you can ask me about that. All of that is either below in description or it's in the community. Now, it's very important for me to say, my show is for entertainment purposes only, okay? And if you would tell your friends, your fronds, tell your fronds, you can see I need breakfast, to subscribe and like. It really helps. We are growing. Today, I'm going to start with good news because there's some things that have really lit me up, like good evidence. But it's not personal. It's for all of us who want to hold on to democracy. All right, this has to do with, I mentioned this before, but now it's really firm. It's terra firma. George Clooney, movie star, producer, director, all around great guy. I've met him too. He's really nice. George Clooney inked a deal with HBO to debut his documentary about Jim Jordan and the Ohio State wrestling sexual abuse scandal. This has been in the works for quite some time, and I announced it months and months and months ago, but I haven't been able to get any detail. Well, as of today, it's confirmed that they made a deal with HBO, which is pretty darn powerful. His company is called Smokehouse Productions, and there is an old famous restaurant in Burbank near the studios called the Smokehouse. And George had his own table, not table, but what do they call that? Table, all right, there. One night I went there, sat with my friends, and the waitress said, "Oh, you're sitting at George's table." So that was fun. Anyway, Smokehouse Productions. And Clooney put out a statement. This is a devastating story about people in power abusing and then covering up their criminal actions against students. The fact that it hasn't been resolved as of yet is deeply disturbing. Now, they also hired an award-winning documentary film director named Orner. It's a woman. And she said, "I'm honored to join this incredible creative team. This film is about the largest sexual abuse scandal in the history of American higher education. It will give the courageous men who were abused a powerful and clear voice." Now, do I have to tell you how this is going to affect Jim Jordan? Well, we're going to get to say goodbye to Jim Jordan. That's my left ear. It's just common sense. First of all, Jim Jordan has now been officially linked with the January 6th insurrection activities. It came out specifically when Cassidy Hutchinson gave her testimony and brought in the name Jim Jordan. Now, he has been avoiding this scandal and anything he knows about it or his participation in it forever. And I want to say my left ear says this is going to come out before the midterms, because of course they want it to come out before the midterms. And Jim is going to be out of the picture. So this is fabulous. Going to take a little time, be patient, but this is going to wipe out his political career. And also they decided to do this documentary because there was a article in Sports Illustrated in October 2020 that detailed many of these allegations. So George Clooney, being a very smart man, grabbed onto this, and he's quite the Democrat, and he supported Hillary. So I want to say thank you to George Clooney and Smokehouse Productions. Feel good about this. Announcement: the next committee meeting is on Tuesday, the 12th of July, which is just around the corner, at 10 a.m. Eastern. And I think they're going to get into the Oath Keepers and Proud Boys and the planning and how those, there was a convergence of efforts under Trump. We'll see. I don't know if I mentioned this to you, but it's more good news. There are 9 prominent Pennsylvania Republicans who are endorsing the Democratic governor candidate, Josh Shapiro. And this is because they say nominee Doug Mastriano, who was at the January 6th insurrection, ready to rock and roll on the ground, is too extreme. These GOP say he's too extreme and a threat to the rule of law. So they've created a coalition to save our states, and they want this Democrat, Josh Shapiro, to become governor of Pennsylvania. This is just fabulous. And by the way, I've watched Josh Shapiro. He's an absolutely great candidate. It just couldn't be better. All right, so this is good news, people. And Josh Shapiro will win. In fact, I saw him interviewed. He actually has a history of winning. He even thinks it's going to be close. I'm not so sure, but we'll see. It may not be close, but Josh is going to win. My left ear promises that. And Pennsylvania is really crucial to the electors. Not that I understand the Electoral College very well, but Pennsylvania is a state that's really critical. So, White House attorney during the insurrection, Pat Cipollone, he testified yesterday behind closed doors. I believe Jamie Raskin, the wonderful Jamie Raskin, conducted that interview, and Raskin is masterful. Now, Cipollone is not thought to be or known to be guilty of anything, except being Trump's chief of staff, White House lawyer. And people are comparing Cipollone to John Dean, but John Dean was guilty. I mean, John Dean did a great thing, but he was guilty, and Cipollone hasn't done anything. But they sat with Cipollone for 8 hours. That's a lot of questions, a lot of answers. And we don't know yet exactly what he said, but this has been confirmed. He corroborated Cassidy's testimony. He didn't argue it or cross it. Really good. And the committee said they received new information, but they can't say details or anything like that. Now, someone in the know who really kind of knows Donald Trump said that Donald Trump refrained. I don't know if you know this, but he's just famous for attacking his foes. I mean, he just goes after people, and he finds a way to get it onto Twitter, even though he's not connected to Twitter anymore. And so they said Trump refrained from attacking Cipollone like he usually attacks people in an attempt to win his favor because he's scared. He's freaking out. This is getting so close to Donald Trump. You know, they're going to be having more committee meetings because more people keep coming forward in a good way. And it's turning into a little tsunami. Now, we're going to move on. Don't know if you know this, but Justice Kavanaugh went to dinner in Washington at Morton's restaurant, which is very expensive steakhouse. And a protest crowd formed outside. It was so big that he had to leave through the back door without dessert. Oh, no! It's terrible. But I just want to say to Justice Brett Kavanaugh, which he was very annoyed about his privacy being invaded. Do you see the irony in this? Do you see the irony in this? But here's what I want to say. None of the justices, and I call them the something six, what did I name them? The terrible six justices, they should not eat out any further. And I'll tell you why. Servers spit in the food when they don't like you. All right, just try that on, you justices that are ruining everybody's lives. I'm so sorry. You may have to cook at home. But, you know, that thing about his privacy was being invaded. Like women's privacy is not being invaded right now. I'll tell you, I just shaking my head, my friends. Now I have something to say in terms of reading energy. So two things have happened that are leading me. Boris Yeltsin, who is just insufferable, awful, resigned amid scandal. He's had a number of scandals. Then Shinzo Abe, former PM of Japan, was assassinated. Shot in the back in the middle of a speech. Good guy. He attended USC. He was friendly with Obama. All right, now here's my point. I feel that Trump is involved in this energy. Not that I think Trump is going to get shot. But there's these two, and now I think there's one more. And I think the one more shocker is going to have to do with Trump. Because leader Trump, 1, 2, 3. We'll watch it. We'll see. But I had a strong feeling I wanted to share it with you. Now, you may know that Lindsey Graham, I call him Miss Lindsey, is fighting a subpoena from Georgia. And that would be from Fani Willis. And thank you to the subscriber who corrected my pronunciation of her name. It doesn't sound like it's spelled. So Fani Willis, who's a force. He will lose. He's got this attorney's audit. He thinks he's entitled and he shouldn't have to and blah, blah, blah. But he's North Carolina and he was calling Georgia and messing with the votes. And I think he also did that in Arizona. Now he's going to lose, but he's probably going to elongate things for him for about 4 or 5 months before it resolves. It's not looking good for Lindsey either. Okay, now we're going to do runes. Promised you runes. I threw runes on Lindsey. I asked, will Lindsey be indicted for voting fraud, voter intimidation, obstruction, etc.? Because I'm not sure, not being an attorney, I'm not sure what it would be. One of those things or more. So this is really interesting. It's not good. The first rune I pulled was defense. And defense tells us there may be an obstacle in his path. He may act needy, but the advice is he should be willing to foresee the consequences, which I don't think he has. He's not a man of common sense. That comes from my left ear and me. All right, the second rune, separation, but in the reversed position. And this says you may be called upon to undertake a radical departure. Now, I'm going to interject here and say that radical departure is telling the truth to a jury. And he may be called upon to abandon some part of himself. And that would be the liar. That's what I'm talking about. He just may have to tell the truth. And then that changes his life. And the last one was breakthrough. And you might think of that as like all positive, but it's kind of neutral because it's about a major shift in the process of self-change. And my left ear is telling you Lindsay's world is about to be rocked, and he may face charges. He may leave politics. We watch. Finally caught up with him. And then this morning I had something else planned, but I was like, DeSantis. So I threw the runes on DeSantis. Will DeSantis run in 2024? I'm not even asking about the midterms right now. I'm just saying, will DeSantis run? So I'm going to tell you right now, believe it or not, I got the message not likely, or he does and he fails. All right. So the first rune I got was the rune of possessions in the reversed position. And by the way, I'm teaching these runes on my new Patreon channel. And plus I'm sharing some really fun stories that people love. So if you really get interested in the runes, my next rune that I'm going to teach will be the 4th rune. You can always catch up, but my Patreon channel. So that little plug here. All right, possessions reversed. This looks to frustration, from the trivial to the severe. So he's going to be experiencing some frustration. Poor Ron DeSantis. But it says he falls short of his efforts. And he watches helplessly while his gains begin to dwindle. It says doubtful situations are abundant. Now, what I don't know and what we don't know yet are, what is he helplessly watching while his gains dwindle? And what may cause his gains to dwindle? Doubtful situations are abundant. That's what possessions reverse say. So now the next one is breakthrough. And once again, a major shift and transformation is at hand. It says, you will no longer be able to live the life in an ordinary way. The 3rd rune is the rune of strength reversed. And it says, without ears to hear and eyes to see, you may fail to take advantage of the moment, a missed opportunity. It says your own strength / secrets are being used against you. Expect failures and disappointments. This rune calls for serious thought about the quality of your relationship to yourself. Now, he is not an introspective person. He will not be looking at how he can improve or self-reflection. But I tell you what, this whole energy is speaking to me of big changes coming for Ron DeSantis. And it feels like it needs watching, like Lindsay. I've been having an ongoing thought, and I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not sure if it's my left ear. But there's this guy named Greenberg in Florida who got into the government there, became friends with Matt Gaetz and Ron DeSantis, but actually stole and was a criminal and was trafficking. And now, of course, he's apprehended, but he's flipping, he's talking, and that's why he hasn't been sentenced yet. He's giving a lot of information. We know this about Matt Gaetz and Gaetz's trafficking or involvement with a young underage girl or more. But here's what I've been wondering. Is he talking about Ron DeSantis? I wouldn't be surprised. And if he does talk about Ron DeSantis, that's top secret right now. And it'll be a bleeping shocker to a lot of people, but not to me. I've seen pictures of DeSantis, Greenberg, and Gaetz together looking so chummy that I can't get this out of my head. So can't say I'm making a prediction because I want to be honorable, but this is a question that just keeps popping up. And this may be the downfall of Ron DeSantis. So we just got to keep an eye on it. All right, and I did a reading on Brittney Griner, the NBA basketball star, because she is being held in Russia. They evidently found a vape pipe in her luggage. She is the only NCAA basketball player to both score 2,000 points and block 500 shots. She's 6'9" tall. Amazing, huh? And she plays for the Phoenix Mercury of the Women's National Basketball Association. My left ear, she in order to try to work with the Russian legal system, she said, I inadvertently put this pipe in my luggage. I didn't mean to. I think she did it on purpose. I'm just going to tell you my left ear. I'm not, I feel for her. What a horrible situation. I just want to share with her that she said that, but I don't think it's quite accurate. I think she thought she could probably get away with it because vape pens don't smell or anything like that. All right, so I pulled the runes. What's her future? What's going to happen? So I got the Berkana, the rune of growth. This fosters growth, both actually and symbolically. It could be in affairs of the world, which is interesting. And it's concerned with the flow of beings into a new form. And what I want to say is that when she gets out of here, she's not going to be the same person. She's really this is going to transform her. It does say modesty and patience are called for here. There's not going to be an overnight solution, but it says through steadfastness and right attitude, a blossoming can occur. So there's hope for her. Now, the second rune with Brittney was initiation, which speaks of something hidden, a secret matter. So what it tells me is that powerful changes are at work here. It tells me, I'm just saying, I think Biden is involved and there may be an exchange, but there's something going on behind the scenes for Brittney. So that's the something hidden. It says on the side of the earthly, there may be surprises, gains, and rewards. Positive. There could be a situation that is experiencing a death, and that there's twofold to that. The death is she doesn't remain in prison in Russia, and the death is that once having this experience was very traumatic, is her life will never be quite the same. The last rune, possessions / nourishment. It is the rune of fulfillment, ambition satisfied, love shared, reunion. And I added reunion with her wife, who's very outspoken right now, understandably. So even with fulfillment, this warns, do not collapse yourself into the success or behave recklessly. And when she is released, the advice would be humble, be grateful, take responsibility where you need to. And my left ear said, this could be a process or 5 or 6 months for her. On the other hand, I want to say, any one of us could wake up to the morning news and go, breaking, Brittney Griner is released and she's on her way back to the States. I think it's going to be okay for her, but not without trauma, okay? Now we get to good evidence. And I'm going to tell you a story. I kind of changed my mind a few times today. this story is about a celebrity who passed away last year. Now, because I know friends of this celebrity and part of his staff, I don't have permission to say his name, but what I want you to know that this gentleman, I wrote notes, because he had an amazing career as a writer of comedy, a producer of television, doing Grammy recordings comedy. So he's won 6 Emmy Awards. He won in his life 6 Emmy Awards. He won the Mark Twain Award for Humor. He won Grammys. He won the Directors Guild of America Life Achievement. And he's won the Writers Guild Award for Best Variety Series. He's in the Grammy Hall of Fame. All right, so this is his whole career. And he had a reputation of being the nicest person in the entertainment industry. I got to meet him once or twice, and indeed he was very nice. I didn't know him. So here's the story. And the story came from his assistant. So this is not rumor, and she told me this story. He lived in Beverly Hills in a beautiful home because he was so wealthy, and he had neighbors on both sides. And word got out that his next door neighbor, also an older man, got cancer, and the family was going to sell the house to pay for his cancer treatment, etc., etc. It was causing them to sell the house. When he heard about it, are you ready for it? He bought the house. He bought the big house right next door, and he let them live in it. So that's an example of like huge monster contribution evidence, because he made this unbelievable contribution to his neighbors. And it is good evidence. It was good evidence for his neighbors. It was a blessing. It was a lifesaver. And it's such a great story, and really nobody knows about it. Sorry I can't say his name, but I don't think it's the right thing to do. But just take in that story, because it's pretty beautiful, isn't it? Wouldn't you like to be wealthy enough to do that kind of thing? I would. I would be doing this thing all the time, helping people. What better thing to do with money? So I found this sort of, it's like a little short poem, and it's very comforting and positive, and I'm just going to share it with you. I don't know where it came from. It says, take the time. This world can be so artificial, lauding all that's superficial. The darkness isn't always bleak. It sometimes offers what we seek. So take the time you need to heal. In truth, you feel the way you feel. Just love that. And then here's a little piece of a children's book called Lemony Snicket, The Rat's Elevator. Here it is. Are you ready? Klaus asked finally. No, Sonny answered. Me neither, Violet said, but if we wait until we're ready, we'll be waiting for the rest of our lives. Let's go. From Lemony Snicket. So I just wanted to leave you with some good stuff today. And I have a Patreon to do. I'm not sure, I'm going to tell you something. I'm not sure when I'm going to do it. It may be later this afternoon. This is supposed to be my day off, but it's not quite my day off. Or in the next few days, but I will announce it, etc., etc. I hope you enjoy this. Peace and blessings. Make peace, make good memories, give a compliment, open a door. All of the above. It doesn't cost you anything. All right. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.